Welcome to TL Yarn Crafts TV. I'm Tony, your host, here to share my technique for foundation crochet stitches. Foundation crochet is a way to start your projects wherein you do the chain as well as the first row of stitches at the same time. This is my preferred method for starting anything that is worked flat or even the bottoms of hats because you get a nice stretchy foundation. Regular chain stitches tend to be quite taut, but foundation stitches have a good amount of stretch. And you're working the first row at the same time as you're doing your chain, so you're saving yourself some work. So I have here an example of the foundation single crochet, foundation half double crochet, and foundation double crochet. What you'll notice is that the stitches on top of the foundation look exactly as they would as if you did a chain and then, for example, a row of double crochets. They look exactly the same. They're nice and tall, nice and uniform. You'll even see it here on the half double crochet. You get that third loop like you always do with half double crochet, so you're not missing out on anything. If anything, it's a time saver. You're also getting the benefit of having a stretchier edge, and it just looks cleaner and neater, I think. So let's get started. So this first example is the foundation single crochet. This sample that I have here is 15 foundation single crochets, and this is the top, but it may get a little confusing as you're working it to find where the top is, so we're going to go through it together. I just have some worsted weight yarn here. I'm going to start with a slip knot, put that onto my hook, and I'm going to start with a chain 2. So yarn over, 1 chain, 2 chains. Next up, I'm going to insert my hook into the first chain, yarn over and pull up a loop, and I'm going to chain 1. That's how all foundation rows start. It might vary slightly depending on which stitch you're doing with your foundation, but it always starts with a chain 1. And now I'm going to complete the single crochet by yarning over and pulling through both loops. So that is 1 foundation single crochet done. So the way that we're looking at it right now, this is actually the top of the row, and this is the bottom of the row. So we're working the project upside down right now just to get our foundation done, and I'll show you when we're finished how we would actually work into this foundation. So that's 1 foundation single crochet completed. Next, we're going to rotate this slightly, and we're going to want to work under the 2 loops of the chain that we originally made. So we're going to go in under those 2 loops, just like this. There's 1 loop and 2 loops. Yarn over, pull up a loop, chain 1, and pull through both loops. Again, we're going to go in under both loops of the chain that we created, pull up a loop, chain 1, pull through both loops. And that's how you do the foundation single crochet. Under both loops of the chain, pull up a loop, chain 1, and complete the single crochet. Now, when you're ready to actually work into the stitches, let's say we were going to turn and do a full row of single crochets, we would chain 1, and we would just rotate the foundation stitches here. So then we would work into these stitches like a normal single crochet. Easy peasy. Next up on our hook will be the foundation half double crochet. Of all the basic stitches, half doubles are my favorite. I think they're the perfect height. They give you the option of that third loop in the back, and you can do a lot of fun stuff with that. And I think they are just kind of the perfect in between when you are trying to choose between the height of a double crochet and just kind of the simplicity and beauty of a single crochet. I think this has, the half double has it in spades. So I work with this stitch a lot. So using a foundation half double is really my jam. That's my thing. So we're going to start with a slip knot as always. Put that on your hook and chain 2. If you're familiar with half double crochets or any of these stitches, all of this will make sense as far as like how we start the foundation stitches. So half double crochets start with a yarn over. So foundation half double crochets will start with a yarn over. So you're going to yarn over, insert into the first chain, pull up a loop, chain 1, like I said, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops on the hook. And that is your first half double crochet. To continue from there, you're going to yarn over, work under both loops of the chain that we created, pull up a loop, chain 1, pull through all loops on the hook. Yarn over, work under both loops of the chain. It's very important to get under both loops. There we go. Pull up a loop, chain 1, pull through all three loops on the hook. Yarn over, under both loops, pull up a loop, chain 1, and through all 3 loops on the hook. And that's your foundation half double crochet. You've got your third loops in the back, your 2 top loops here. So we'll make a few more and then I'll show you how we'd work into these. It's very important too to keep your tension fairly loose with these. Since this is your foundation, you want to take advantage of how stretchy a foundation single crochet or half double crochet is. Keep your tension loose. So a few ways to keep your tension loose are to, 1, keep your yarn slack, which I'm having trouble with. 2, keep your starting loop pretty flexible on your hook. And when you're working into your chain stitch, give yourself some slack when you pull up that loop. And then chain 1 and pull through all 3. Because the tension of that chain 1 is what's going to dictate the flexibility of the chain that you're basically making at the base of your foundation stitches. So go under both loops, pull up that loop, keep that loop pretty loose, chain 1, pull through all 3. All right. Now, once you're ready to actually work your half double crochets, I always start my half doubles with a chain 1 at the beginning. Some people do a chain 2. I only do a chain 1. And then you would just kind of rotate and work under the 2 top loops or through the back loop or whatever you want us to do and continue your half double crochets. So you've basically created your chain stitch and your half double crochet all at once. So you don't have to worry about your stitch count. You don't have to worry about any tension in those half double crochets. If there's ever a question of what the last stitch is in the row, it's this one right here. Don't work into this space here. This is the side of your work. So this is your last half double right here. And then we chain 1 and turn. Okay, now let's move on to foundation double crochets. So the last foundation stitch I'm going to be showing is the foundation double crochet. Just like all the other stitches, we're going to start with a slip knot and a chain 2. We're going to yarn over, work into the first chain, pull up a loop, do our chain 1, and then yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through the final 2 loops. So that motion of yarning over or pulling through 2 loops twice is what you would do with a normal double crochet, and it started with a chain. So again, we are doing the chain and the actual stitch kind of in the same motion. So we're going to yarn over to work our second foundation double crochet. We're going to work under the 2 loops that we created from our chain. pull up a loop, chain 1, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And that's it, folks. It is way easier than it looks, and honestly, once you get some practice in, I wouldn't be surprised if you prefer it this way, because you save yourself a lot of time, you get the stretchiness of the foundation, and I think it just looks really uniform. You don't have to worry about the tension of your starting chain, because sometimes my starting chains can get really wonky. I also have issue where like I'll lose count, or I'll get myself confused with like how many starting chains I need for something. So I just skip all of that, and I do my foundations this way. So I know exactly how many stitches I need for my starting project. So if something says like, let's say for example, a project says to chain 12 and half double crochet in the third chain from the hook. I don't love doing that. So I would instead just do like what would that be? 10 foundation half double crochets. So then I know exactly when I get to 10, I can stop and just kind of start the project from there. So save some time, save some mental energy, I think. And I think it's also a great just technique to know, because it just kind of opens your horizons as far as different projects to design or different ways to do things. Just a little technique for your toolbox. So let's say that this is the length that I needed to start my row of double crochets. I would chain 2, rotate my foundation, and work into the stitch as normal. And there you go. Those are your foundation stitches. So I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel for more tutorials, unboxings, and product reviews, and make sure you hit that bell so you don't miss any of them. This is Tony from TL Yarn Crafts, and I will see you next time.